Fueling Atrocities: How U.S. Sanctions Failed to Stop Burma's Deadly Airstrikes. The Burmese military is waging a campaign of terror from the skies, bombing thousands of innocent civilians using Russian and Chinese-made fighter jets. The U.S. promised to take action to stop it. By cutting off the fuel supply the military uses to power its jets. More than 6 months later though, aviation fuel is still finding its way to the junta's planes. The big question is why? Here's how we got here. 3 years ago, the Burmese military seized power from the country's elected government in a coup. The people of Burma rose up in nonviolent protest against the military's unlawful rule. But the junta only responded with a brutal crackdown and more repression. Since then, the people of Burma have continued to resist, and the junta has waged an unrelenting war against its own people. One of the most horrendous parts of the war is the junta's airstrikes against civilians. Since the civil war began in 2021, 1,821 airstrikes have been deployed, killing thousands of people and displacing millions more. Targeting anyone who opposes their unjust rule in cities, villages, and jungles. In an effort to stop the bloodshed, the United States sanctioned companies involved in the procurement and distribution of jet fuel to the junta. This long overdue step promised to cut off the junta's ability to terrorize its civilians from above. But months after these sanctions were announced, there is still oil in the tanks of Burma's jets. So how did it get there? Human rights observers have traced the jet fuel to shipments from third parties, including Vietnam, a U.S. strategic partner. It seems the firewall the U.S. announced against the junta's airstrikes left a gaping hole. U.S. and global officials need to do better. They are responsible not only for their own direct arms sales to bad actors, but also for using their leverage to ensure their partners and allies are not doing the same thing. Help us call on President Biden to take stronger and tangible steps in coordination, as well as follow up with other leaders from other governments to stop the jet fuel sales to Burma. Take action today to urge the Biden administration to lean on its partners and members of the UN Security Council, to block all weapons and aviation fuel from reaching the junta's hands. There is no excuse for complacency. Lives are on the line. Please visit uusc.org/jetfuel.